What would Jesus say about first and last place? Let's examine the puzzle behind Jesus blessing those in last place in Matthew 20. For the kingdom of heaven's like a landowner who went out early in the morning to hire laborers for his vineyard. The gospel writers openly wrote about Jesus and wine. Grace is risky. Legalism removes risk and grace. Someone might get drunk, yet Jesus turned water into wine, drank with sinners, and used wine as one of the elements of the Lord's Supper. He even used the grape harvest in parables. Now when he'd agreed with the laborers for a denarius a day, he sent them into his vineyard. And he went out about the third hour and saw others standing idle in the marketplace, and said to them, You also go in the vineyard, and whatever's right I'll give you. So they went. Again he went out about the 6th and the 9th hour, and did likewise. And about the 11th hour he went out and found others standing idle, and said to them, Why have you been standing here idle all day? They said to him, Because no one hired us. He said to them, You also go into the vineyard, and whatever's right you'll receive. So when evening had come, the owner of the vineyard said to his steward, Call the laborers and give them their wages, beginning with the last to the first. Let's understand the context. Jesus' disciples quarreled openly for position. They spurned widows and children who attempted to talk to Jesus. This attitude is not tolerated in God's kingdom. Those who arrogantly puff themselves up and look down on others will be last in heaven. The last are put first. And when those came who were hired about the 11th hour, they each received a denarius. But when the first came, they supposed that they would receive more, and they likewise received each a denarius. How long we've served God doesn't give greater entitlements. In heaven, there's a great reversal. The first will be last and the last first. Let's not allow position or tenure to delude us into thinking we're better than anyone. They may be our boss in heaven. And when they'd received it, they complained against the landowner, saying, These last men have worked only 1 hour, and you made them equal to us who have borne the burden and the heat of the day. The Old Testament law of redistribution around the Jubilee is neither capitalist nor socialist. Like this parable, God's kingdom will operate differently. This subversive parable reveals kingdom values, not based upon entitlement, but need. None of us is entitled to heaven, yet we all have a need of life after death. But he answered one of them and said, Friend, I'm doing you no wrong. Didn't you agree with me for a denarius? Take what's yours and go your way. I wish to give to this last man the same as to you. Isn't it lawful for me to do what I wish with my own things? Or is your eye evil because I'm good? He kept hiring people because they needed work, and paid them the same contract wage, no matter how long they worked. Jewish Christians are equal to Gentiles, and ancient churches are the same as new ones. The parable is thus about the goodness, the mercy of God, the generous employer. An evil eye is an attitude of envy, greed, or stinginess. Wanting first place is an evil eye. When we believe that others are undeserving of positions because they've not been around as long as we, is an evil eye. Human perceptions of what we deserve are not heaven's. So, the last will be first, and the first last. For many are called, but few are chosen. Many so-called little people are big in heaven's eyes. Why is the janitor the happiest person in the building? Why is the widow the one with the most encouraging word? Why is the wisdom of an old man in a nursing home the greatest thing you've heard all week? Why does the poor farmer out working in his field sing so loudly? Why does the blue-collar worker live longer and have a happier marriage than the billionaire? These are great secrets of the kingdom of heaven. This parable doesn't excuse unfair wages, but explains God's generosity. This world is upside down. The arrogant, the narcissistic, the greedy, who have chosen first place in this life, have chosen last place in heaven. The selfless, the generous, the serving, who often choose last place in this life, are rewarded with first place in heaven. The great reversal is coming. Where will we be?